towards the second visit. First week was a pretty short type workshop, but this time it's going to be a big one, 3-day workshop. And since most of our students do belong to the Tibeto Burman linguistic background and they speak those languages, so it would be better for them to attend this workshop so that they can learn something new which they can clearly incorporate in their proposed research work, because most of you are working on Tibetan languages and you won't get a better person than that Swabilansi. Right? You must learn something from Linda, but he is the man who taught Linda the language of linguistics, because he was the supervisor of Linda, so there is no other man to look at the TV than Dylan. So, as I said last time also, so you grab the opportunity to put on your hands and torture him, literally, to teach him anything, everything about that language, because you're not going to get that chance again, right? So, that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to be writing behind the schedule now. So, all the best for your workshop, and once again, welcome to Assam University. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Finally, we would now like to request our Honorable Vice-Chancellor Professor Dilip Chandra Nath to share his thoughts on this occasion. Now it is.
Because compared with many places I've been around the world and in India, this is really striking. Well, more than that, I tell everybody that I talk to, at least in the linguistic world, about the tremendous enthusiasm that I've encountered here for work on local endangered languages. This is also something that is not true everywhere in the world, and not true in every linguistics department in India, and for that matter, not true in every linguistics department in the Northeast. It is the case, I believe, that every linguistics department in the Northeast talks about how important it is to document endangered languages, but not everyone really cares about doing it or about doing it correctly. As we're all aware, we are in this part of the world at the border between the South Asian cultural and linguistic sphere and the East and Central Tibetan cultural and linguistic sphere. For this reason, Northeast India is known in the field of linguistics as one of the last great, as they say, hotspots of linguistic diversity. There are more different languages per square kilometer in the border states and the adjoining parts of Assam than you will find almost anywhere in the world except for Papua New Guinea and the Amazon Basin and the Caucasus Mountains. So that puts us, perhaps I should say you, but I really feel that it is us, right up at the center of linguistic interest. And in the surrounding areas of Silchar, there are a great many highly endangered languages that have never been documented. There is a great task here for descriptive linguistics. And the other song that I sing everywhere I go in the Northeast, and that some people listen to, and that some people don't, is if those languages are to be documented, it will have to be done locally. There are not enough linguists from outside who will come here to do the work. Okay? I don't mean to cast aspersions on anyone, but I do it anyway. And let's all just understand that linguists from the center, linguists from the mainland, really don't want to come out here. And if they come out here, they want to sit in an office. They don't want to go out and do field work. As for foreign linguists, well, I have, as Dr. Halkeep mentioned, my student Linda Coveth and a few others who are working, and there are one or two others, but there will never ever be enough foreign linguists to do the job that has to be done. There will never be enough foreigners coming here to document all of the languages which need to be documented, many of which, let's be honest, are likely to disappear in a generation or two. Therefore, if those languages are to be documented before they disappear, who is going to do it? There is nobody but you. And I want to repeat that. There is nobody except students and researchers from this university who will step up to do the job. The reason why I'm enthusiastic to come back here after my last visit and enthusiastic about coming back again and again is because I find here the enthusiasm that's necessary to take on this task. I truly believe that a lot of this work will be done and that it will be done out of this department. And in any way that I can be of help to that enterprise, I'm ready to do that. And I feel not only inspired, but actually grateful to find here the kind of interest that I do in carrying out this effort. Let me just, as a little advertisement here, mention that for the last 10 years we have organized the Northeast Indian Linguistic Society, and that we've had regular conferences at various universities around the Northeast. Well, I say various universities, in reality, mostly in Guwahati, twice in Tezpur, once in Shillong, and I've been talking to the faculty here about our plan. We would very much like to bring the next NEALS meeting next February, well, not this coming February, a year from February 2018, here to Silchar, Assam University. Okay, I count on all of you to help with this effort. It requires a great deal of local organization and local linguistics, but I am absolutely confident that here we have the enthusiasm for the task, and in a year and a few weeks, we will have here linguists from all over the Northeast and from all over the world. NEALS regularly draws participants from Europe, Australia, Japan, the US, and I guarantee you that if we advertise the beauties of the Assam University campus, we will have substantial international participation once again. So, I will close with this, leaving all of you with a few tasks on your table in front of you to think about for the future. And thank you once again for your hospitality. Yes, but now we have the stems coming, right? So let me give you her examples first. Yeah, I think she has that one also. Yeah. So, like this. Okay, well, this linguist, I don't know where she was working. I think actually maybe on the Burma side. I'm not sure. Rebecca Cover? Yeah.
I think she collected data from Abos giving they are not.
Oh, that that could be
We
also.
have consultants from this grammatical services and all.
Yeah, okay, right. Okay, yeah, she did her work in the States.
Seem to be very much influenced by Chin and other factors. I mean, not this, but otherwise.
Okay, anyway, this is just a build-up to the example. So, this is stem 1, this is stem 2. And the way you would usually write this actually is like this. So you gloss bet as bite 1, which means this is stem 1 of the verb bite, and be as bite, and this is stem 2 of the verb bite. Okay. And she anyway claims that these are two ways to say the same thing. I did it. And either way, notice that you have a first person and you have a third person involved in this complicated construction. But this is just to show you these showing up in a sentence. Now, the weird example. Okay. Sapang pe. No?
If it was something there, someone pet paw or pet and someone else the child.
Okay, so this is child, and this is bite in stem 1, and this means somebody who bit a child. Okay, if instead I say this, that means somebody that a child bit. Okay. And as I said, these are weird examples, and if I were trying to elicit this, I would not be talking to my consultant about biting children. That makes people very nervous, right? Especially you're a stranger coming in from outside, and you say, "So, how do I say the one who bit the child?" And they say, do they do that where you come from? Right? But you can do this, you can elicit, for example, the cat that ate the rat that the cat ate. The point is, okay, this refers to the subject, and this refers to the object. Okay? This is the one who bit the child, and this is the one who was bitten by the child. And the way that that is marked is with the choice of stem 1 or stem 2. And this test works for a great many Kuki-Chin languages. That is, you get a relative clause based on the subject, and that will give you stem 1, okay, the one who bit the child, and then you get a relative clause based on the object, the one who the child bit, and that gives you stem 2. And usually, if the language really makes a difference between stem 1 and stem 2 and uses it in the syntax, this test will tell you if something is stem 1 or stem 2. And then, once you've sort of figured out, well, what are stem 1 and stem 2, then you can go back to the rest of your verb paradigm. Right? Because after all, if I've just told you some tenses may have stem 1 and other tenses may have stem 2, now you elicit, how do I do present tense, how do I do past tense, and you get different stem forms, you don't know which one is which. Because it won't be the same from one language to the other. This will be the same from from one language to the other. If you have a relative clause based on the subject, you will get stem 1. If you have a relative clause based on the object, you'll get stem 2. And that's quite reliable. A genitive here and not a genitive there. And if you have a linguistically attuned consultant, they will think of it and they will say, oh, that's because here it's a person and here it's not. And if you don't have a linguistically attuned consultant, they'll say, I don't know, that's just the rule. And then you need to ask some more questions or collect some more data or something to figure out what's going on. But my main point is that unless you collect natural examples from people talking, you will never find this example. If you never find this example, it won't be in your grammar. If it's not in your grammar is wrong. Not to put too fine a point on it. It does not describe Boro accurately because this is a rule of Boro that every Boro speaker knows and every Boro speaker follows every time they speak. Right? So it needs to be in your grammar. The only way you'll find it is by collecting natural speech. Now, when I say you, of course, if your own language does the same thing, then you will think to ask. But in general, assuming you're working on a language that's very different from your own, right, and you're trying to work with a questionnaire, you just lose so much information. Okay, that's the story of related nouns. And now I think we can have lunch.
Sir, so can we take some examples from other Bodo languages? Like there are many other speakers like Dimasa and Kongoro speakers also here.
As far as I know, it mostly works the same way, except, okay, do we have a Dimasa speaker here?
Yes.
Okay. So for Dimasa, instead of all, this will be ha, right? But you actually have the same rule, right? So I would say nang ni ha, I can't just say nan ha. Well, actually, I can say nan ha, but that means how do I say I have a book?
Aniha.
Ani, okay, so you still need the genitive. Right. So basically everything that I'm saying works exactly the same in Dimasa. It's just that a couple of the words are different. But you can find examples of everything that I've showed you in Dimasa, and in fact, I can almost guarantee you that if you just take my examples and translate them into Dimasa, they will work the same way. Koporok is a little bit more different. I can't guarantee that every example will work exactly the same way, but the general system works the same way. Not sure about Fury. Fury is a little bit more. But otherwise, you should be able to find exactly everything I've showed you in any other Bulgarian language. If you can't, here's what I say. If you're not sure, go out at lunch and try it. Try and think of these examples. And if you think it works differently, tell me this afternoon. Hmm?